The family of a woman who died in police custody has launched an independent investigation into her death. Lena Odom had medical problems while she was in jail.
Now, she died the same day as her release at the end of last month. And tonight, First Coast News' Bethany Anderson speaks with her family's attorney.
This is a woman who probably shouldn't have died while in jail.
Attorney Randy Reep has been hired by Lena Odom's family to find out what went wrong. The 28-year-old died after being in police custody for 6 days.
It's not somebody who came into jail last night and died in the morning and they brought with them what they had. This is a person who they had 6 days of observations.
Reep says witnesses told him Lena started asking for medical attention long before her death, but was ignored.
Witnesses seem to indicate that there was maybe some indifference on the part of the people she was pleading with to get her medical attention.
Lena was arrested April 22nd on prostitution charges. But Reep says regardless of the police report or how she died, she still deserved proper care.
They take a responsibility for the inmates once they're there to care for them. So whatever it was, and we may never know exactly what it was, but the fact that she articulated that she was in distress and if there was a delay in getting her the proper medical treatment, that can rise to the level of negligence.
Lena's father says he wants justice for his daughter, but in the meantime, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says no foul play is suspected. Bethany Anderson, First Coast News, on your side.